everyone, welcome to another video in the GMAT Master Series. Today we are looking at a very interesting concept, the concept of independent and dependent clauses. These are very important in identifying run-on sentences, and students often get confused between the two. So let's jump into the video. Let's start by looking at what is a clause. A clause is nothing but a group of words that consists of a subject and a verb. And it's not of much relevance to you, but that's basically a clause. What is of relevance to you, on the other hand, is the two types of clauses that are there: independent clause and dependent clause, which is also known as a subordinate clause. So a lot of people have heard of subordinate, not dependent. They are the same thing basically. So what is an independent clause? Let's start with that. Let's take a look at a sentence. John is a good student. So now in this sentence you have your subject John, you have a verb is, it also conveys some meaning. So basically it's a complete sentence, and that is called an independent clause. So an independent clause is nothing but a sentence which consists of a subject, a verb, and some meaning also has to be there. It's a simple sentence basically. So any simple sentence is the same thing as an independent clause. It's called independent because it is self-sufficient. It does not depend on any other clause for its meaning to become clear. Sometimes students get confused with independent clauses when they contain pronouns. So for example, she is here to meet me. Now, do you think this is an independent sentence? A lot of people think it is not, whereas it is absolutely independent. She is your subject, is your verb. The meaning is also there, she is here to meet me. So the reason some of you might get confused is because you end up mixing the concept of an independent clause with pronoun reference. Who is she referring to? How do we care? She is basically your subject, can refer to whoever it wants to refer to. So don't mix up pronoun reference with independent clauses. A pronoun can absolutely be your subject. To give you an even more tricky sentence, some of them are from Japan. Almost everybody thinks it's an incomplete sentence. It's absolutely a complete sentence. Some of the books are from Japan, some of the pens are from Japan, some of the students are from Japan. So if you put a noun in place of them, the sentence makes perfect sense. So then it doesn't really matter what them is referring to. That can absolutely act as your subject. So all the three sentences that you see on the screen are independent clauses. Do not let the pronouns confuse you. Now let's see what happens to our sentence when we add a word such as although to it. Although John is a good student. Now there is a problem because you have your subject John, you have your verb is, but there is no meaning. Something has to come after that. Although John is a good student, so what? So this is basically a dependent clause because it depends for meaning on something else that will come after it or before it. So the difference between dependent clause and independent clause is only of meaning. They both contain the subject, they both contain the verb. If the meaning is there, independent. If the meaning is not there, dependent. So how do you make a complete sentence? This is your complete sentence. Although John is a good student, he failed in the test. Now in this sentence, note that the part before the comma is of course a dependent clause, although John is a good student. But the part after the comma, he failed in the test, that's absolutely independent. He is your subject, failed is your verb, meaning is also there. So for any sentence to be a complete sentence, you need at least one independent clause to be there. You cannot make a complete sentence simply by connecting multiple dependent clauses. What are they depending on? There has to be at least one independent clause somewhere. So that is basically the concept of a dependent clause and an independent clause. Words such as although, since, as, while, though, because, these will always give you dependent clauses or subordinate clauses. Incidentally, these are called subordinating conjunctions, which again is not very relevant, but they will always give you dependent clauses. Students sometimes wonder, why do we have to know all this? Well, nobody on the GMAT is going to ask you whether a particular clause is dependent or independent. But when we look at the next video, which is on run-on sentences, then you will understand why it is very useful if you're able to identify dependent and independent clauses. So that's it for independent and dependent clauses. Do watch the next video on run-on sentences to see how this is tested on the GMAT. Cheers everyone.